All right, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, and just like yours truly right here. The premise of this video, Steve Perry, I think, needs to start to acknowledge his fans, okay, for a couple of reasons. His fans are absolutely crazed and would like to see Steve. They'd like to hear Steve talk to them. And Steve has almost created a problem by being this recluse who occasionally makes an appearance and sets the world on fire. One person said if Steve Perry had sung on American Idol, even for one or two verses, he would have taken the earth and kind of moved it off of its axis. I mean, it would have been just pandemonium. And he already created this buzz and this stir right on the eve of Journey embarking on their tour of the United States. Right before Journey took the stage in Hartford, it was Steve Perry, Steve Perry, Steve Perry. I think Steve Perry has had enough time to heal from both his personal tragedies and his physical ailments. Of course, somebody sent me a picture of Steve Perry's fingers. Now, my mother had rheumatoid arthritis, and she had it probably right at the time or before I was born, and she suffered with that disease for 40 years, and her fingers became very deformed and very, very hard to look at. I was always just amazed at how crooked everything was and how out of place everything was. So Perry, and I talked about this last year, I talked about the fact that Perry probably has some kind of degenerating bone disease, hence the hip thing from 20 years ago. My nephew has it, it's hereditary a lot of times, and it's just brutal. But I do think if Steve can walk and talk, he doesn't have to sing. What he has to do is just reach out to fans. Set up a Twitter account. Set up a Facebook account. Set up some kind of social media platform where you can spend maybe an hour a day. And of course, that's not going to be enough for the fans, but it's better than zero. It's better than them always trying to get to you. There's Steve Perry. You know, and I hear in interviews how, you know, I've never left you, Steve Perry says. But let's be honest, for 20 years, he's left the fans. Actually longer than that, if you count what he did following. Look, the fans didn't do this to Steve Perry. The fans in 1987, they didn't do anything to Journey or to Steve Perry. All of a sudden, Perry was there and Perry was gone. And people didn't get any explanation. And maybe it's a sense of they need closure, okay? And when I say they, I'm a fan. I don't think I'm the same kind of fan as some of the Steve Perry fans out there. And we've already talked about this and had multiple videos about it. I just think that Steve Perry should be able to give back. Do some charitable work. Look at the example Arnel Pineda has set, okay, and others in the rock and roll community. Whether you like John Cain's faith or not, I'm sure he's doing some charitable work that's reasonable. Neil Schon has teamed up with Steve Smith and Arnel Pineda to do Synchronicity 2, which is going to drop any moment. I just don't know when. I've got the song. It's awesome. But that song, all of the proceeds, or a good chunk of them, are going to fight human trafficking. Look, there's a bigger picture than just showing up on a television set or making a great PR move to sort of one-up your former bandmates. And whether that was intended or not, it sure looked like the timing was a bit suspect. So, wrapping up, it is time for Steve Perry to give back to the community and to give to his fans who are absolutely crazed and need some Steve Perry. They need their fix, okay? Because I haven't seen anything like this before, where somebody remained so reclusive when there was this wall, this cacophony of noise, just begging them, hey, just for a few minutes, public speaking tour. You'd fill large auditoriums with people who would want to hear Steve Perry just talk. And maybe it would be therapeutic for Perry, and it would certainly help the fans who still love the guy to connect with him in a way that he could supervise rather than people like myself doing all kinds of speculation, which at times I know is probably way off base. All right, so that's my video. What do you think? I think it's time for Steve to give something back. All right, talk to you soon.